Are you tired of feeling like you're not living your true purpose? Well, in this video, I'm going to guide you through the journey of self-discovery and empower you to actually find your voice. My name is Peter Abundant, aka Dr. Abundant, PhD and ordained minister of metaphysical sciences. I'm also the author of The Enlightened Shadow and Spiritual, Not Religious, both available on Amazon and Audible. The first thing you want to do when really taking this journey of self-discovery and empowering yourself to acknowledge, to claim, to express your voice throughout the world is to truly tap into the power of authenticity. Authenticity is the key to you actually being able to find a deep connection with yourself and understand what's important to you, understand what resonates with you, basically understand your connection between yourself and the universe. The more you understand this connection, the more you take a deep dive into recognizing that this connection is just something that goes beyond the universe being an extension of yourself or you an extension of it, but it goes into the realm of recognizing that you are the universe. Then you get a whole new sense of power and understanding about you and the possibilities. Authenticity matters more than anything else in this world, because when we look at the world and we look at mediums by which we connect and get a view of what's going on in the world around us, we find that there is a sense of disconnection. There is a sense of people not really understanding themselves, not able to understand each other. If you don't understand yourself, then it's very hard for you to connect with other people. And this lack of connection creates a lot of negativity, a lot of violence, a lot of, interesting interactions that definitely don't leave us feeling a sense of hope for the future, even for the present. And so in order for you to make an impact, to actually influence the world in a positive way, which I'm sure you want to do, you have to tap into yourself, because your reality starts and ends with you. So everything that you experience, everything that you see, everything that you hear about, it is through the perspective of your consciousness and of the self that you actually begin to experience and take on this information. It is your interpretation from the level of your consciousness, your understanding of self, that actually defines what is actually going on around you. Okay. Now, how authenticity can boost your personal and professional life is by really understanding that when you are connected with yourself, when you understand the divine power that is you, that emanates from you, that you get to define, you get to interpret, you get to essentially create something that you are experiencing from a more empowered point of view. I always say when it comes to the things that you desire in life, make sure you take the lead in them. So even if you're in a position where you are interacting with other people, right, which is most times, right, we're engaging with other people, we think that we have no sense of control over the interaction, over the exchange that's happening, right? You think you have no control over the other person, which in many degrees is true, but you have control over yourself. And what people fail to understand is that your control over yourself is way more powerful than you can possibly imagine. It starts with recognizing your reactions to things that's happening around you. It starts with recognizing that, making statements like, oh, this person made me mad, this person got me angry, this person made me do this, are really false statements, because no one can make you do that, right? Yes, maybe they pushed a button, maybe they triggered you in a way, reminded you of a trauma that happened in the past, but ultimately you got final say over what you do, what you say, and what you don't do. So it's up to you to really take ownership of that power. And even in that simple, exercise of really recognizing what's happening and how you are wanting to respond to it versus how you should respond to it is a power in itself that will actually create massive change in your life, right? It will empower you in a way that will shift your whole entire perspective. But it even goes beyond that, because even if you're having an exchange that isn't an argument or a fight, okay, you still have to maneuver through the world in a certain way that shows up where you show up empowered, where you show up really claiming the life that you want to live, right? Claiming the person that you know yourself to truly be. And so you have to understand that when you step into a, room, an opportunity, a situation, as you move and function throughout the universe, your intention as to why you are there, what you are doing, right? Your purpose in life needs to be and should be so clear that you have a definite energy, vibration, a frequency that people can feel, and they can actually like feel it when you walk in a room. I'm sure you've experienced when certain people walk into a room, there is something about their energy. And that energy is essentially their clarity of purpose, of recognizing, who they are, recognizing who they are and what they truly desire out of life, and them having a clarity as to what it is that they're going to achieve. That's the energy that you're feeling, and that's the energy that you want for yourself. And so by way of authenticity, going into your authentic self, learning what your authentic self is, who you are at this current moment, as you progress through life, because you're going to change, right? But in the current moment, you're going to have things that are important to you, things that you desire, things that you're passionate about. And it's very imperative that you go into yourself to recognize what those are. That you go in and recognize what is extremely important to you. What is, your goals? What are your ambitions? And you have an understanding of your divine power to create whatever you want. So there are no obstacles for you anymore, right? There are no quote unquote challenges. Yes, there are lessons. Yes, there are opportunities for you to look within, recognize things that you need to shift, but ultimately the trajectory never changes. That is the power you feel from other people. That is the power you also have available to yourself. When you understand purpose, when you embrace your true self, even the flaws, right? You embrace yourself to such an extent that the flaws are no longer flaws. They're actually gifts. They're actually things that you can use. They're things that make you unique and special. You just have to figure out how to actually manipulate, how to position those quote unquote flaws to actually, be a benefit, because usually when we think about flaws, we're only thinking about things that don't fit the traditional norms of society, but they do fit particular specialties, talents, moments, things that are actually very customized to you, you see, and that is the journey. That ultimately is the journey. So with uncovering your unique voice, you must uncover and tap into your authenticity, understanding who you are. That then is going to lead you to really identifying passions, identifying values, identifying beliefs, identifying purpose. And those things will lead you to discovering unique skills and talents. And then you have a much deeper of an understanding of your strengths and weaknesses. Now, if you are not looking for those things, then you're going to feel lost. And you have to understand that as you are looking for those things, there are more opportunities or there are more moments throughout this journey where you're going to find things you're not passionate about, right? Find things that you don't necessarily agree with as far as beliefs, values that don't align with your consciousness. Okay. You're going to experience more things that don't resonate with you than do. And that is the point. You see, the point is to go through all of the muck, go through all of the mess, and then get tunnel vision on the things that resonate with you, on the things that express who you truly are. So then once you understand, okay, these are my passions, these are my values, these are my beliefs, this is my purpose, then you can fine tune those unique skills and talents, AKA what we often call flaws, and recognize, oh, these things that I once was ashamed of, these unique abilities, this way that I looked at the world that didn't, agree with everyone else, right, is actually made for this purpose, for this idea, for this intention. And then you look at, okay, now that you have a clear picture, you look at your strengths and your weaknesses. They also fit into that, customized purpose, idea, and then you have to get into, okay, now you are able to focus in on your purpose. You're able to focus in on simply moving forward in this trajectory of recognizing that this is why you are here. This is the experience that grand consciousness, or what most people call God, has sent you, right? Also, you have decided to come here to experience. So with that, you have a clarity about you that allows you to express your unique voice. And your unique voice isn't really about just the voice. It isn't about just speech. It's about existence. It's about expression. It's about how you communicate with the universe, with everyone else who is experiencing and interacting with you. You see, so when you are dialed into your purpose, you are connected with your passions, you're connected with those values, those skills, right, in a direction of that purpose. They are now clear to you. Whereas before, when you were a teenager, when you were a young adult, even now, you may be somebody like me in their 40s, and you're still piecing together the jigsaw puzzle of, your passions, your talents, your beliefs. You're probably processing what of those things are actually you versus what they were programmed in you to believe, right? So you have beliefs. You may have a particular religion that doesn't resonate with something that you're really interested in, right? You may have a passion that doesn't align with a belief system that was given to you by your parents. So you're at odds with yourself, right? And so you have to really ask yourself, authenticity. This is about authenticity. What truly makes me happy? And if you have to come to a point of making the decision, make that decision. Decide on your passion, decide on your talent over an old belief system or old value that really is not yours. They were just programmed and given to you. You can always adjust those belief systems and those values. Passions and talents, on the other hand, they're usually just set. They're usually an expression of consciousness. They're usually a key, a tool to support you along the journey of self-realization, along the journey of your spiritual unfoldment, your spiritual awakening, enlightenment. So you have to find that clarity. You have to go through all the mess. And sometimes it can be messy for us. That's okay. Don't avoid it. Don't be scared. You will never fail. All you have to do is just be willing to go through the work, walk through the fire, you see? So you have to explore different avenues, right, to make an impact, right? So if you are somebody who is not clear as to what your purpose can be, that's fine. That's great. But still be intentional and be purposeful with finding your purpose. Go out there, explore new things. If you see something you're curious about, go check it out, investigate, right? Explore, follow your curiosity. Be very, inquisitive about everything. Question it, look at it, observe it, analyze, you see, because that may be the very thing that will lead you to your fulfillment, to your joy, to your understanding of recognizing who you truly are and why you're here. So you have to be willing to go through different aspects and avenues of life, some of which, like I said before, will seem to go against a belief system that you were given. They may seem to go against maybe a religious belief, right? But you have to find what is truly connected with you, what truly connects with your consciousness, with your heart. And if you don't do that, then you really laying down the foundation to live a life full of suffering, full of perhaps depression, anxiety, a disconnect. And I don't want that for you. You will find that, yes, there may be a process where you have to deal with this uncomfortability of recognizing your voice and it being at odds with somebody else's voice, right? A voice that was programmed within you, your parents' voice, your grandparents' voice, your culture, your community's voice, right? Your religious group, your church's voice. You have to choose your voice because that is the only thing that is going to give you the satisfaction and the fulfillment in your life. That is the light in the dark tunnel. You have to listen to your own voice. That is the beauty about this whole thing. When you listen to your own voice, then you are led down the path of having a voice that will radiate and be expressed throughout the universe. The interesting thing as well is your voice, you sharing, you showing up and having a presence about you. It is usually seen as something that people receive, right? People respond to it. People feel the vibration, the energy of another person's presence, right? Which is a voice. Now, people will feel that from you as you get to the point of recognizing who you are, as you tap into that authenticity, as you tap into your purpose and that power. Now, the thing is, when you start to share what you should, that voice that you have used to guide you through, right, the dark tunnel of ignorance, of the unknown, right, of other people's negative belief systems and programs that were put in you that had you kind of caged in. But now, as you are free to basically express this voice that has led you through the tunnel, it doesn't mean that you stop listening. The voice then becomes something that, yes, you communicate and use to support other people, but it also continues to feed you and motivate you. You see? So many ways, for example, people use their voice is by sharing, by coaching, by teaching, by writing books, by making YouTube videos, by making podcasts, by teaching in any way or form, right? They just want to share. That is a voice. They just want to promote positivity, love. They want to help the next person. They want to help people. They want to help make an impact in the world. But there is also the beauty of the voice is that you also still hear the voice as well. You still also are inspired by the voice as well. You having this presence, you being able to identify your own voice and unleash it is just as good as for you as it is for the world. Why is that? That is because you are the world. You are the universe. So this voice that we're talking about is ultimately unconditional love. When you have a true understanding as to who you are and you are tapped into that divine spark, right? God within you, you learn how to follow it, right? Through the darkness of the unknown. And you are able to come through that dark tunnel and experience heaven, right? Heaven is in the mind. Then you are able to carry that presence with you into every room and every space. And then when you actually consciously, mindfully share your voice, whether it be through presence, whether it be through actually speaking, whether it be through making content, whatever, right? You actually intentionally want to help people. That voice amplifies and it also echoes back to you, right? It also sends a pulse. It's like this is throwing the stone in the pond. The stone hits the pond, the ripples go out, they hit the edge, and then the ripples also come back in to the original point by which the vibration was sent out in the first place. So you are constantly expanding, growing your voice, your presence, getting to know yourself deeper and deeper. You send out that pulse, that frequency out into the world by sending out positive energy, love, light, and that comes back to you. But the difference is it comes back to you just as strong or even stronger as you put it out there. You see, usually when you throw a rock in the pond, the ripples go out and then you see them the ripples kind of fade away a little bit, but it still comes to the center. In the universe, in terms of sending out unconditional love, it actually increases in intensity, in power. And so I want you to understand that when it comes to releasing your voice, when it comes to sharing your power, it starts with you truly accepting who you are. Because, please don't get it twisted. We've grown up in a society where it's easy to pick and choose what's good and bad about this and that often reflects within ourselves. So we grow up thinking, oh, I like this about myself. Oh, I like that about myself, because we're constantly comparing ourselves to other people. But then there comes a point where there should come a point, and this point may be now for you, where you look in the mirror, you think about who you are, and you simply can fall in love with yourself because you recognize just how special and unique you are. You recognize how you are custom built for something. You don't want to be like everybody else, because everybody else, if everybody else was all the same, if we were all the same, then life would be so boring. Life would be not interesting at all. But it is because we are different. It makes us all very interesting, intriguing. You know, I love going out to like the park or public places and just people watch. I love watching people. I don't even have conversations with most of the people, but I just love watching them, watching how many people walk different. Their walk is unique to them. Something as simple as a walk, right? How people dress, how people use their hands, how people move their head. You know, you would think that eventually we'll run out and everybody will start kind of doing the same things. But everybody has a different walk. So when we get into even your personality, how you communicate, right? How you authentically think about life and yourself and love and all these different things, it is for a reason. And so what I want you to do is take ownership of that. Take ownership of yourself. Let yourself free. Unleash your voice. Unleash your presence. Be the person that you know yourself to be. Unapologetic, no reservations. Don't worry about what other people think. Because a simple fact is, people don't care. People don't care so much as to judge you for being authentic. What people want is to experience an authentic being. People are inspired when you are authentic. They're not inspired by cookie cutter personalities and a cookie cutter presence. So be authentic, tap into your purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, make sure your purpose is to find out. Be intentional about your life. Be intentional about the path that you're walking. Don't waste a single day thinking in terms of not thinking about what you want, right? Don't waste a single day distracted. Don't waste a single day not implementing something that is going to express your voice. The voice is God, ultimately. The voice is your divine spark expressing itself out. Your voice, your presence is that divine spark expressing itself out in order to experience it. So please express yourself, be you, love yourself, and then just continue to share by any means possible. So if you want to start a YouTube channel, go for it. If you want to write a book, go for it. If you want to start a podcast, if you want to just get a group of friends together to simply talk and discuss and share ideas, discuss things from a positive, loving point of view, do so. Whatever your idea is, whatever you are curious about, whatever thoughts or, things that sit in your mind often as it pertains to sharing your voice, please go for it. Because it'll make a difference for everybody. It'll make a difference for me. So do me that favor. Now, if you're interested in writing a book, a spiritual book particularly, I invite you to a workshop that I'm going to be doing soon. This workshop will help you to actually write a spiritual book within 7 days, maybe even shorter. So if you're interested, go down to the description below. There's a link where you can register, reserve your seat, and get access to me. It's going to be a live Zoom workshop. I look forward to seeing you there. Until then, watch the next video, and I really hope that today's video resonates with you. If it does, please put in the comments, this resonates with me. I appreciate you so much. Feel free to go to drabundant.com, subscribe to my daily newsletter, get access to this free ebook, The Power Within, and so much more. Continue to join me on this journey. Peace and abundance always.